listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking cerebral. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Tuesday, October 14th. I'm your host, Michael Leva, joined as always by Josh Moser from WSBN 7, South Florida's #1 news channel. I just came back from South Florida. Guess what news channel I watched every night from my hotel room? WSBN 7, Josh Moser. How you doing, Josh?
I'm sorry. I'm doing great. Sorry you got to see more of my mug. I mean, Tuesdays are great, but extra, man. Rough go.
Yeah, it was fun being down there for the weekend. You know, the game, not so much, but I'm also not kind of surprised either. And we're going to talk about all that on today's show. But as always, first, this show is brought to you by Caneswear. Everyone go to caneswear.com for the best and most affordable Miami Dolphins apparel on the internet. They also have stuff for the Miami Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Heat, the Marlins. If you need a hat, jersey, hoodie, T-shirt, something for the home, something for the car, of any of the South Florida teams, caneswear.com is the place to go. Tom and myself, we went there Saturday afternoon. It's awesome. There's so much great stuff there. It's a great shop if you are a fan of South Florida sports. Great prices. And again, if you're not in South Florida, caneswear.com is the website to go. Check that out. Also, shout out to everyone watching live at the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook page, run by the great Carlos Hernandez. And if you're watching on YouTube, drop us a comment and make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it as well. All right, now we can start with the game. But I think the real story from this weekend, it happened after the game. Tua's post-game comments. Okay, it sounds like since that time he said it, he spoke to some players on team and did like a little bit of an apology tour, it sounds like. Did his comments hurt anyone other than himself?
I think that it might have hurt the players that were late to the meetings. But no, this was a straight reflection of, I get where Tua was trying to go, and Tua's done this now a few times, where he's just trying to be open and honest. And sometimes the public, call out of teammates, even though it was anonymous without saying their names in his mind, is like, hey, let's put it out there that people are missing meetings. And if they would have been to the meetings, they would have been in the right spot on the route, and I wouldn't have thrown an interception, and we would have won the game. That might have been a thought process. I'm not exactly sure. But rule number 1 in the NFL, I go back to Pete Carroll, spent a lot of time with him. Rule number 1, protect the team. And that's simply a huge mistake, and it just did not need to be addressed in front of the media. We were sitting there after Tua said this, and we were walking around like, dude, what did you just say? And the reality is, players are late to meetings in every NFL locker room across the country. It's part of it. But you can sense the frustration. I think Tua was just coming from a good place. It just didn't come off the way that he wanted it to. And we're going to talk to him tomorrow. So I'm curious to see what's taken place from the time of the comments until now. And like you said, he's spoken to a few of the teammates. And look, he went on Sunday. It solves a lot of problems. But yeah, it certainly didn't help Tua, to answer your question.
Here's a question I have too. How many player-only meetings are there? I mean, are they doing them weekly now? And look, I'm just a simple man from Syracuse, New York. I don't remember any team having this many player-only meetings. Most teams, maybe once a year, maybe twice. It's not. They had one after week 1, which was odd because that's right after training camp. What do you guys do all camp? Okay, it was a bad loss. They wanted to talk, whatever. How many are they having?
I don't know the answer to that question. That's a good question.
That's a good question to ask.
I'm going to ask that. Well, we would assume that it would be at least one a week. Okay. And it seems like the leadership council would get together and they would, want to say something. But like you said, it's an omen. If you're having a players only team meeting in week 1,
it's over. It's over at that point. Yeah.
Rasul Douglas on Monday was just awesome. And he's one of the few players that I feel like are playing really well. And he's been solid. And he was basically just like, we keep finding different ways to lose, and that he's never been 1-5 in his life. He wants to say that, the team is close. And Mike, we could probably go down the list. The Patriots game, you had the chance to win at the end. The Panthers, they let just kind of walk back in it. And then obviously this last game to the Chargers. So you win those 3 games, you're 4-2, and you're tied with the Bills at the top of the division. So I guess my question kind of to you is, you make those couple plays, you didn't. You're like how close are they? Because to me, in my head, they're way far off. The players,
they're way far off.
Close, but I think they're way far off.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 games they've lost the exact same way, where everyone says, "Come on," in the crunch time moment of the game, he has to make plays to it. Well, he did, but the defense just gave it right back, literally in seconds, both times. So there's that aspect of it. But even the game versus the Colts, like no one showed up. Like I don't know how, and it was week 1.
Brutal.
Like no one showed up for week 1. It's week 1. It's like opening day in baseball saying our bats are cold. Like how? It's the first game. It makes no sense to me. So, and then the game versus the Patriots, and probably the one versus the Bills, those 2 are on him. Like he threw bad interceptions in those games, really bad late interceptions. So I think this team, just being totally honest, top to bottom is an utter disaster right now. It was built wrong in the offseason. Now I know they had their issues saying we're trying not to, trying to reset the cap. We don't want to spend big money, which I get. Every NFL team has to go through those ebbs and flows. I totally understand it, but they lost so much on defense and they just try to replace them with rookies, and it's not working. The offensive line, they brought in one guy who's played 4 plays, and who knows when he's coming back. It doesn't sound like this week, but who knows, I guess. Maybe he cut out. So it's like, they're not close. And then when you lose Hill for all the stuff off the field, on the field, he gives you so much. Good luck trying to replace that. You can't. They're not close. They are one of the – I've said this probably a week or 2 back. I stand by it even more now. Next April's draft, they're going to be picking 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be Saints, Jets, Miami in some order. I don't know the order. Well, you know what? Toss in the Tennessee Titans. They're going to be in the top 4 in some order. I don't know what the order is going to be, but that's going to be the order of the top 4 because they are by far the 4 worst teams in the NFL. Don't even throw in the Panthers. Don't throw in the Browns. The Browns, which we'll talk about, no.
Good defense.
These are the 4 worst teams. Yeah, they got defense.
I'm with you. It's time. It's, I know everyone's clamoring for Quinn Ewers, bench Tua.
That's not going to happen.
Not going to happen maybe in December, but the real question for everyone watching this is you would assume that Chris Greer would finish out the season. Then you don't know if he's going to stay.
Well, that's my next question. Let me phrase this to you because I think you're going to answer this. If they're going to, okay, let me just make sure I got this right. So if he's gone at the end of the year, why is he here now to make any moves at the trade next month on November 4th or by November? Like if you don't want him here next year, why is he here now? Because he's going to make moves. I mean, they're going to make moves. Not a ton, 1 or 2, I'm thinking. Trade off Chubb, maybe trade off someone else. Like, why is he here now then?
It's a question of do they have a successor lined up? And normally you don't want to make a move until you have somebody in mind. So, Brandon Shore, money guy, he'll probably stick around. But you really kind of need someone to make personnel moves. So, but I'm with you. That's just I don't think, but it's also like if you get rid of him, well, hypothetical. So say he's gone, and then so they got blown out by 3 touchdowns by the Browns and they fire McDaniel and
just put Marvin Allen in there. He can make 2 trades for a 5th or 6th round pick. I'm pretty sure he could.
The hope would be is that you remember you have an entire college scouts, you have the NFL scouts, you have a whole system of the front office that is talent evaluators. You're hoping that somebody in that group can make an informed decision with someone. The one thing that Chris Greer really has is he has a lot of experience in dealing with the other general managers. And I understand that everyone watching this will say, he hasn't picked the right players. He hasn't made any moves. He's with all of his talent. However, it's different when you're needing to maybe negotiate something with an agent, something with another GM. And they don't have anybody that can do that. And there are very intricate moves that happen behind the scenes that we do not know about where Chris Greer still has value. But I'm with you. If you're not going to be making the decisions on draft night, it's almost time to move on, but whoever they're going to put in place probably may not be here as well. Because normally what happens is you're going to bring in a full new regime if you're going to lose the GM. But that would be my rationale. And it's just rare. It's so rare that you see a GM fired midseason. It's just almost it's almost like a brotherhood respect thing as well, where they want you to finish out the year. And I personally do not see Chris Greer being fired midseason. I do not see it.
I don't either. And I'm not even upset with, like, if they tell him, trade off these guys. Like, say they tell him, trade off Chubb, trade off Jalen Phillips. That's it. And get whatever you can. He can, what's he going to do? He'll say yes, and he'll do it. It's not the end of the world. This guy's not going to fall. So I don't even care, but I'm just saying, there is a case to be made to let him go now, not even let him make those moves. But if they do let him make those moves, it's going to be fine, because what are we getting back for those guys? You're talking about picks around 5, 6, or 7 at best.
I hope you get more from Chubb than a 5th-round pick, but you got all that money.
3 and plus 3 ACL injuries too.
Yeah, but look, you always need pass rushers. Obviously
they're
going to hang on to Chop Robinson. He's going to be a building block, but. Yeah, and you also, I bring this up. We'll go back to Chris Greer. Like, his father just passed away, and this man's been with the organization for 25 years. Say what you guys want about a results-based business. Like, as someone who recently lost their father, like, I give the man a little bit of grace.
Absolutely.
Like, he can make any moves right now that's going to change the trajectory of this team anyway.
His job ends in April. Last week of April. That's when his job really ends.
Yeah. So, I'm curious if we'll keep him on as like an advisor.
Oh, I think that's
that
coming.
has certainly happened, but
I think that's coming.
We'll see how that plays out. But just right now, it's a complete dumpster fire, and I'm really curious to see what is going to happen on Sunday, because I don't know what's going to happen. I have no feel. We were talking for this Chargers game, like, they could win, they could put it together, which we thought that they wouldn't, but we thought that they might be able to eke something out.
Yes. At home.
Again,
that's why, because they're at home, and they had a ton of injuries. The Chargers had injuries. Cleveland, not so much.
Right. And my other thing, too, is like, say you get rid of McDaniel, and we'll go to this conversation. It sounds like Anthony Weaver doesn't want the job. You have a situation in Tennessee where neither offensive or defensive coordinator are now the interim head coach. So it's like, who's really going to coach this team?
I would turn to Darryl Bevel.
It'd be, then who's going to call plays? I think you're looking at
then you got to go to Frank Smith.
Coaching experience. Frank Smith has
you got to go Frank Smith. Well, he's an offensive coordinator in the NFL.
In title only.
Great experience for you, Frank. You got 8 games, call the plays, see how it goes. At that point, it really doesn't matter because the season's over. So I would, or then you could go head coach. You could go tight end coach, John Embry. He had to.
And Embry's got the head coaching experience, and it's just like, we know that Ross is going to be patient. I was talking to Drew Rosenhaus. He spoke to Ross on Sunday, and he's like, he basically said he's really disappointed, but he's going to stick with McDaniel for a bit. Again, I still think the possibility would be after the Ravens game on a Thursday night, after the bye week, if you get throttled.
I think the bye week's looking real good right now. I think that bye week's looking good.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens here, but it's
this is as bad as it's been in a while. Look, I am a little bit older than you. I know you come from out of town. I've been following this for many. This is worse. This is as bad as it was when we had everything go on with Joe Philbin, Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin. Like, this is that bad. And I thought that was the worst it's ever gotten. This is pretty bad. 2019. Everyone was on the same page. We're trading off Cameron Wake and Ryan Tannehill, and we're going to tank, and we're going to lose. Like, it was like a wink and a nod. Like, we all know what the game plan is this year, even though they didn't execute it right. But everyone was on this. Like, we knew going in each week we were going to lose. Okay, we knew.
$100,000 to lose a game. Like,
yeah, pretty much. This year,
I didn't say, guys.
No, you didn't say. This year, though, I didn't have high expectations coming in, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. But there were some fans who thought, they can make the playoffs possibly. And I was like, I don't know what team you're looking at. But the reason that the fan base is so angry is that the expectations were there, and they're not even close to meeting the expectation. Like, Cleveland's going to beat their balls off this week, and fans don't understand. Cleveland beat the Packers. Miami hasn't had a win over a team like Green Bay in years. They beat the Packers, Cleveland. They held Cincinnati, with Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and everyone Chase, to 7 yards of total offense in the second half. You think our offensive line's going to block that defense? You people are nuts if they think they're going to block that defense. We'll be lucky to cross midfield.
Yeah, what's rattling my brain is like Anthony Weaver, for example. We'll try about the run defense specifically. It's like, where's his stock? And it's almost as if as a head coach, you're saying all the right things. You think that you're motivating the players, but there's obviously a disconnect. And he's like, what do I do? Like, I have no secondary. I can't blitz. I don't know if I went back and was watching the tape. Burrow, they basically had 5 offensive linemen, and they either used a tight end or a running back to block. And we were rushing 4. And they still picked us apart. It's just, I don't know schematically what this guy can do with the pieces that he has. And
he doesn't have the pieces. That's the problem.
He's just like, I don't know what you want me to do. I put the guys that you give me out there. They don't know how to tackle. I can't cover one-on-one because we get burned. Like I'm in a base defense. Like, what do you want from me? And I don't know where you go. And now
he doesn't have the pieces. You look at what they had last year, and I know guys like Holland had a down year. Like, I get it, but they're still, very good NFL players. Outside of Minka, outside of Zach Sealer, outside of Jordan Brooks, I'd say.
Those are your 3.
Those are your top 3 players on defense. You got some other guys I like this past week. KJ Britt. I thought he played really well, actually. Okay.
Yeah, but I put Rasul up there too.
I put Rasul, but they're complementary pieces. They're not guys you can lean on for heavy workload. No. And then you got a lot of rookies. Grant is really struggling, which, okay, but he's a rookie. Yeah, that's true. But it's like you put a lot of rookies out there. Willie Gay, for some reason, they don't like to play the guy. Not that I'm saying if they played him, things would change. But when it's been this bad, it's like, can a guy get more than 3 snaps a game? Let's just try something new. I don't know. Not that he's the answer. Not that it's going to change results. But can you get more than 3 snaps a game? I think that's like a fair question. I don't know. And then their secondary was so beat up. And they got so many injuries. And Jack Jones, I know fans get on. Why are you getting on? It's not his fault that he shouldn't be a starter here. On most teams, he's a 3rd or 4th corner. The fact we have to have him start is more on Greer than Jack Jones. I can't get mad at Jack Jones when he gets called for a penalty, gets beat. He shouldn't be in that situation.
Yeah, Kader Kahu, we haven't talked about him. But they were expecting him to have a huge season. Obviously, no one expected the ACL. And then, brought in Burns as well, who was, a fringe corner, former Miami player, so Canes. So I know the fan base remembers him.
Mike Hilton was here for a cup of coffee. He gone.
Yeah, it's rough. You just don't have the pieces. But then again, in your offense where you've invested your money, you're not seeing any production. We can talk about the offensive line till we're blue in the face. It's what's really interesting to me, though. I want to bring up one point. Like, the right side of your offensive line is significantly weaker than your left side of your offensive line. But for some reason, I know Devon Achane is right-handed, and it's a lot easier to move everything to the right. Like, they never fucking run to the – oh, my bad. Sorry.
That's okay. I don't care.
They never run to the left. They never run to the left. And everything is to the right or up the middle. So, like, I would like them to see – to actually try to run behind Patrick Paul. Like, why don't you swing Strange the other way? It's interesting to me. But it's something that –
It is. Well, and you know what Frank Smith said last week, I think, when they asked him about Jonah Savayanea, like, why is he at the left side? He's clearly having a lot of issues on the left side. And he played a little bit in college, but he was, mainly right guard, right tackle. If he's more comfortable on the right, why don't you try? Like, just try something different. And his answer was, well, hold on. His answer was great. Well, we want him and Patrick Paul to be years to come on the left side, to which I would have said, bro, you ain't going to be here for years to come. It ain't going to matter, because I guarantee whoever comes next year is going to be like, okay, you can't play left side. We're putting you back to the right side.
But you effing knew that he was a right tackle. You
I know.
Expect him to learn a position at the highest level and put him in right away. Like, Tua's left-handed. Draft him to be on the right side, his blind side. Like, let the man play where he has all the muscle memory. You can't do that in a 3-month training camp where everyone's half speed.
I agree. This is what drives me nuts. This is what, look, me, I would put him at right tackle because I can't count on Austin Jackson for more than 2 games in a row at this point and say, dude, you're a new right tackle. Take the growing pains there and hope this works. Then you got Paul on one side, Savane on the other. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Let's find out. And then next year's draft, we'll try again at center guard. But that's what I would do because I know Austin Jackson probably ain't going to be here next year because that guy can't stay healthy for more than 2 games in a row.
Yeah. Well,
try something new.
Like last night, prime example. Bears should never won that football game against the Commanders.
No, they shouldn't. It was a gift.
You invested. Swift is a phenomenal talent. I'm saying Devon Achane is a better player than Swift.
Yep.
Put that on record. The way that he ran behind that offensive line, the investment they made on that offensive line to protect their investment in Caleb Williams, it's rational. It makes a lot of sense. And you just look at the chances that this team has had. I get Laramie Tunzel turned into all of the picks, the litany, and you've just taken the wrong guys. And it's just brutal. It's just, yeah, like right now, like I don't even know where to go with this thing. And I think maybe the most telling thing for me, especially being around him, is Mike McDaniel. And I mean, the guy has
beaten man.
He looks beaten. He has lost his sense of humor. I mean, I think he's been told to kind of tighten it up now that you're 1-5 as well.
Tone it down a little bit because it's just bad luck. Yeah.
At the same time, like this man, kind of like Anthony Weaver, it's just like, what do we even do here? Like we can't compete. It's like, you're going into a fight knowing you're going to get knocked out anyway. So it's brutal.
I mean, look, I don't know who's getting fired when, but the point is, in some ways, you might be doing a responsible thing and like letting someone like Mike, because Mike looks so beaten. He stands up there he has nothing to say anymore. He tries his best to answer these questions. And if I were giving him advice, I'd be like, Mike, short, sweet, right to the point. Don't worry about giving these long answers. Just say, we tried our best. It didn't work this week. We're going to go back and try. Like, just don't. Yeah. He's just talking, which I know is not his style, not his way. But at this point, he's just like repeating himself. And I feel like Mike, and I do feel for him because I think he's a good man at heart. But This team was not built for success this year. And I don't care how many hours he works or what he tries to do. This team was not built for success. I think a lot of us saw it in March and April. It's like, okay, I understand why you want some guys gone. They weren't good, in the clubhouse, but it's like they didn't do anything. I mean, and then they get to the draft with all these picks and they're trading them away, trading for picks next year. Like Chris Greer traded away a pick to get an extra third next year, which is going to be great for the next guy. But it's like, you got a million holes on this roster. You got a million holes.
Well, I think they knew
logic.
I think they knew that this wasn't going to be it and that you're going to need somebody next year. But the problem is you got to draft an impact player. And right now your top 2 picks haven't had an impact. You hit on Chop Robinson last year, which was great. You hit on Devon Achane a couple years back as a 3rd rounder. Cam Smith, losing him is just was a big loss. Igbenogany, you could say, is a huge loss. And then I'll bring it up again. The tampering with Tom Brady and Peyton. You lost a 1st rounder and a 3rd rounder. That should have been a Pro Bowler and a starter on this team, still on a rookie deal. So it's just like
it's a bad situation.
How much more
really bad situation.
You're glutton for punishment almost at this point. I will say on the Mike McDaniel thing, this is just for everybody listening a little behind the scenes as far as media works. So normally when Mike McDaniel gives us an interview, we get a time clock. So it's like 15 minutes. So his, mirandering, filibustering, whatever, if I've got anybody on there watching that likes Billy Madison, it's kind of like the debate at the end where it's like, it's basically nowhere in that rambling, incoherent, did we learn a single thing? That's kind of what he does because then he can answer less questions. So if he just rambles, if he's shortened to the point, he's got to field more questions. So it's kind of a delicate dance there.
That was the Brian Flores thing. He was short to the point, and then they would just keep asking like the same type of question and just reword it, and he'd just be like, I already answered it. You'd be so frustrated. But not Mike. Mike does give the long answers. I think he is trying to run out the clock, which smart in some ways, but
if you want to run out the clock, why don't you do it? What are you doing with scoring with 46 seconds? Now, I will say, No, I actually agree with him. You got to take the points. It was the right play. You got to be able to trust that your team
absolutely.
stop something. So for anyone that says they had an extra timeout, that they should have run a BS play, like you got to take the points there.
Not this year. We're not good enough to do that this year. You got to take the points. Yeah. Real quick here before we wrap up, shout out to mybookie.com. Everyone, if you're placing bets this week, mybookie.com. Use the promo code Dolphins. Make sure you click on the bet back bonus token. So if your first bet loses, you get all your money back. That's right. Like it never happened. Then you can bet again. That's mybookie.com. Use the promo code Dolphins. Bet back bonus. Got some games on Saturday. So you got the Miami Hurricanes play Friday night against Louisville. So that's going to be a big game. Louisville's not bad, so I think that's going to be somewhat of an interesting game. I think the Canes will win, but that'll be a fun game to watch on a Friday night. And then on Saturday, you got the full slate of college games. And then Sunday, Dolphins-Browns. I know people say Dolphins-Browns, but hey, I'm telling again, just lead us into. I think the Browns are way better than people think. Two lefty quarterbacks going head-to-head. That's going to be fun. And also, real quick, too, sign up for Dolphins Talk Extra, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. Next Friday night, we're having a happy hour show where the people who pay to be that, who are members, can come on with Josh and Aaron. Not this Josh, our other Josh and Aaron.
I got
myself.
Game. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You can so you come on a show like this with us. You can talk about Dolphins or anything else. A big thing, Josh. Let me tell you a big thing we did this week since we've talked enough football. The hell with this. So. We're up north, and Wegmans is a big deal up north.
I know Wegmans.
You know Wegmans. Good. You're a perfect person. But for, people from South Florida and stuff, like Publix subs are better. Publix is better. Publix. So Tom and myself went to a Publix. I think it was the one in Miramar, on Friday. And we tried to sub. We shot some videos around it and stuff. Look, I know people feel strongly about this, and I'm not here to troll anybody or make anyone feel bad. Publix is a pimple on the ass of Wegmans. Okay, Wegmans is so much better in every which way. It's not even funny. It's far superior. No
comparison.
No comparison. So we each tried to sub. Tom had the Italian sub. Wasn't a big fan of it. I had the chicken tender one because I know that's their main one. It wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was bad, but it's not something I got to go out of my way for in any which way, shape, or form either. But, yeah, we were not really impressed with Publix and Wegmans. And what stinks about us at Wegmans, because they're so tied in with the Bills up here, you walk into Wegmans, it's Josh Allen wing sauce, Josh Allen's picture on chips, Josh Allen coffee, So that stinks. But to take that part out of it, Wegmans is far superior.
Oh, yeah. Publix. We do have a spot down here called La Sandwichery. There's a few franchises. Next time I'll take you. They can put stuff on Christmas.
Yes.
They can do a baguette.
And I know people have said the place next to Canes where it's something with an L, Las Pradas or something.
Oh, it's called Pradas?
Yeah, people say that's great.
Yeah, it's like New Jersey style. They throw the meat. It's not bad. It's kind of like an upgraded Jersey Mike's is maybe
so
the best way to explain that.
Next year when we're down, we're gonna try that one, and then I'll probably try the one you just told me. So we'll try more subs down there. But the Publix one, and I know look, if you're from there, it's your hometown store. I get it. People have that tight bond with it, but you've just never been to a Wegmans is all I'm gonna say. It would change your view on everything.
Oh, well. Shout out Wegmans on the Dolphins Talk podcast.
Yes.
For our season.
I don't think they're going to advertise with us. I don't think they'll advertise with us. They're too tied in with the Bills and Mr. Allen. But it was fun being in South Florida this week. It was fun to see you. Fun to go out to dinner. Oh, yeah. Love the Hard Rock Hotel. That's where we stay. It's the best. It was really fun to hang out a night with Ian and everything he's going through. I know he really loved that night. That was so much fun. It's been like however long we spent, like an hour and a half, whatever it was with him.
I'm gonna see him tomorrow night, so maybe.
Well, that's right. At the event
see if
there,
we can do something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I saw he was on the field Sunday, ringing the bell too with the cancer patient stuff. So that's really cool. But it was a fun time in South Florida.
Yeah, got to get you back down here. Maybe we, say there's no state tax. You're paying all that New York tax.
It's true. And New York tax is pretty high. Yeah, I know. One of these days, maybe for sure, because I do like it down there. Certain parts I really like a lot. Certain parts I could probably not. Maybe certain parts I like a lot of South Florida. So who knows? Maybe someday. But yeah, so Dolphins, Browns, last word. What do you think this week? You got two lefty quarterbacks here. That's rare.
Yeah. part of me wants to see Dylan Gabriel go down, and I want to see Shedeur Sanders step in and watch him beat the Dolphins on like a last second, like 40-yard touchdown. No, look, like this to me, depending on how this team shows up, I think we could have a head coaching change on Monday. If this team does not show up and they get beat by more than 2 touchdowns, I think a change would happen. And I'm not saying that the players will quit. I do not. I think it's the opposite. I think that they come, but I'm so sick of the mistakes. And it's for anybody that knows ball. Like, I mean, they're making high school level mistakes. Like, and it's going to get bad. And then you just pray that, look, it's a tough field that they're going to play on. Like, that field is a disaster every week. I don't know what the weather's like on Sunday. I haven't checked yet.
I haven't checked. I'll check now.
I just want you to come out of this game healthy. You should beat this team, but I just can't trust this defense that's given up 400 yards per game. I don't think the offense has enough with the offensive line and without Tyreek Hill. And Jalen Waddle's been good. It's Darren Waller's still the key. You know, you're going to need Achane to rush for another triple digits, and you're going to need Waller for 7 for 80 again. And I just don't know if it's there. And Nick Westbrook-Akine, I would love a cameo. I would love something, anything. But yeah, still waiting on that.
Okay, so it's going to be 66 with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, 94% chance of rain, essentially. Going to be a wet one.
So I'm taking the under.
Take the under with these two teams. Miami's going to have trouble scoring.
The under could be at like 41, 42. Then you can't touch it. But God, if it's that low.
I can check that in 2 seconds. But you're right. I would say the under as well because it's going to be a wet, sloppy field. And again, our offensive line, I didn't think it was awful this past week, actually. I really don't. But they're going up against a different animal here. The under is at 40.5.
Yeah. See, I mean, gosh.
This game's got 17-10 written all over it. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. What was the Jets-Broncos game? It was like 13-11.
It
could be one of those.
That's a rough watch right there.
Oh, it was brutal.
That was brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you know of any cornerbacks, we need them. All the help we can get.
Larry Borum trying to block Myles Garrett. Good luck with that. Even Patrick Paul's going to struggle there. It's going to be a rough one. But, all right. So, everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow Josh on social media at The Mo's Nose. Check him out on WSVN 7, South Florida's #1 news station if you're down there. And also, just check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. I wrote a couple articles Sunday night. I'm going to write one pretty much when we're done here about Tua. There's a lot of content going up. Check it out. And tomorrow, Marissa Marino has a special interview. It's going to drop. Don't want to tell you who until it's done because we usually jinx it. And I don't want to jinx it and have it get canceled. So check that out. We'll probably drop that tomorrow evening. Everyone, or maybe Thursday. I don't know. It could be Thursday. All depends. Yes, very good guess. And this is another one. Everyone have a great evening. We'll talk to you again after a while. And don't forget, no matter how bad the Dolphins are, we still must put an end to highway profanity.